Felipe Massa's legal battle against the conclusion of the 2008 Formula One World Championship has sparked considerable interest in recent weeks. Although many thought the circumstances surrounding the Crashgate incident at the 2008 Singapore Grand Prix had been relegated to F1 history, it has recently resurfaced as a hot subject. And now, even the key player, Bernie Ecclestone, has opened up about it and hasn't gone easy on Massa. He went in on Massa's motives and blamed him for what happened. He even brought in Hamilton's lost 2021 title, suggesting that he isn't whining about that either. Bit harsh, isn't it? But what's all the fighting even about? Does Massa even have a case here, and what more does Bernie think? Let's dive in. An interview earlier this year in which Bernie Ecclestone suggested that knowledge of Nelson Piquet Jr.'s deliberate crash was known early enough for the FIA and FOM to act before the 2008 title was depicted, something he suggested they chose not to do to avoid a huge scandal, prompted Massa to suspect there was more to the case than initially suspected. Massa's conviction was strengthened when archive film of a conversation with the late F1 race director Charlie Whiting was made public. Whiting said in the video that he was briefed about Renault's plot to win the Singapore Grand Prix at the 2008 Brazilian Grand Prix before the title was declared. Although it is commonly believed that FIA law states that world titles cannot be revoked at this time, Massa's attorneys disagree. If there is real evidence, they do have a case. But will they be able to act upon it 15 whole years later, when the regulations only allow for a 2-week contest period? They're trying anyway. And with the official legal procedure now underway, and Massa's counsel awaiting a response from the FIA and FOM on a letter before claim notice, media talked with one of the key players to better understand the case's history. Bernardo Viana of the law company Sao Paulo Vieira Rezende Advogados, which represents Massa in Brazil, has shed light on the lawsuit and explained why the team of top sports attorneys is certain there is a case to answer. And Viana is sure about one thing. Massa's case isn't about seeking compensation for feeling the FIA and FOM failed to behave properly. It's about reversing the championship result. The objective is to bring the trophy home, he said. It's not financial. To get there, several measures will be taken with different aims, some to obtain information and others to obtain statements. We want everything that happened in 2008-2009 to come to light. We are quite confident in the evidence we have, without prejudice to the additional ones we're looking for, and without prejudice to everything that will come to light. We understand that there is even more information that has not been made public. Massa's decision to file a lawsuit over the 2008 championship result was not made lightly. And as Viana notes, it was only made after several prominent sport legal experts agreed that there was a case to answer. We assembled a stellar team across many areas and many jurisdictions to analyze things, he said. We wanted to reach the conclusion if there was no claim or there was a claim, and we believe we have a strong case. There are many lawyers involved, added Viana. They are the best. If you see the team, you will know that this is not a legal adventure or something that's completely random or baseless. The fact that we're moving forward shows a lot. None of those would recommend going forward without being confident that we have a strong case. One of the fundamental questions in Massa's case is whether the FIA laws allow for a previous title to be disputed. It has long been recognized that there is a rigorous window of opportunity for challenging race results and world championships, even when new information is discovered. According to the FIA's International Sporting Code, any right to request a review ends 14 calendar days after a competition, and 4 days before the date of the FIA prize-giving ceremony for that year. Furthermore, the FIA's legal system makes it plain that the ultimate authority to issue any judgment is the Independent International Court of Appeal, and that all participants in the championship agree to this. These are restrictions that Massa's legal team is aware of, but does not regard as obstacles to the case. Without revealing too much about the legal reasons that would be presented, Viana stated, "What I can say for now, without diving into the legal technicalities, is that maybe it's precisely this lack of external control that might be one of the issues." Viana also sees no problem with Ecclestone now claiming he can't recall giving his latest interview, nor with Whiting and Mosley's death preventing them from being cross-examined. Irrelevant, Viana remarked of Ecclestone's allegation that he forgot what he said. "We're pretty confident with the evidence that we have. More than that, I cannot say at the moment." Viana feels that, as Ecclestone said in a previous interview, the ideal answer should have been to cancel the race altogether, or to eliminate any component of it that was impacted by Renault's activities. We understand that the proper remedy would have been the cancellation of the race, as Bernie admitted, and that he, Mosley, and Whiting always understood was the case, he said. It was the proper way to approach the regulations, and even if they wanted to partially cancel the race, let's say count the race until lap 14 when Piquet crashed, Felipe would have been champion as well, based on the regulations of the time. He would receive 50% of the points. Felipe was robbed of 10 points that day, and he lost the championship by 1, so the math is very clear. Massa is presently pursuing his legal case on his own, since the Ferrari team for which he was driving at the time has not joined forces. Viana stated that it was not necessary for Ferrari to throw its weight behind what was occurring because others in the paddock had voiced support in private. There are many people who are so afraid to speak up, which I think says a lot, he explained. We're not going to wait for Ferrari to back us, but we of course would welcome their support because they lost the title with us. I think that Tifosi made their statements very clear at Monza with a Felipe 2008 champion banner. Felipe receives many messages from the Tifosi through social media and through former employees every time he's in touch with them. It will only be natural for Ferrari to support this because Felipe won the 16th Drivers' Championship for Ferrari. But of course, we're not going to wait on that. We're moving forward with or without. Viana confirmed that no communication had been made with Hamilton or his agents, but that the action over the 2008 outcome was not directed at the Briton. Felipe has nothing against Hamilton, absolutely nothing, he said. This case is against what was done by the previous leadership at FOM and FIA. We have nothing against Hamilton. So, what happens next? Massa's legal team is presently awaiting a response from the FIA and FOM about the case. The initial deadline of this Friday for responses to be supplied before prospective legal action in the British High Court begins has been postponed while negotiations about a reasonable timescale continue. They have asked for more time, and we are assessing internally if we're going to give them more time in good faith, added Viana. They're still within the time that we have offered them, so we are waiting for their response. If their response is adequate, and if they approach us for any conversation, that's okay. If it is not, if their response is not adequate, we're just going to move forward with the legal strategy that we have in place. Viana has also stated his opinion that the truth about what transpired in 2008 and 2009 would be revealed as part of the court proceedings. Once the lawsuits are through, there will be no back-channel negotiation or conversation that happened in 2008 and 2009 by any and all stakeholders that will remain hidden, he declared. All of that will come to light. So anyone that defrauded the sport, the fans, Felipe, Brazil, Italy, or anyone that failed to comply with their legal or contractual duties, that will be public for everyone to see. No stone will be left unturned. I think the discovery part of these lawsuits is going to be very interesting. While the judicial procedure is ongoing, the FIA and FOM have so far refrained to comment on the Massa matter. But there is one particular person that has finally responded on the case, and he hasn't taken it lightly. As former F1 boss, Bernie Ecclestone thinks Felipe Massa is merely suing for money, and that Lewis Hamilton could have done the same. Brazilian Massa ramped up his legal efforts this week, sending preservation notifications to a number of teams and staff members, instructing them not to modify or destroy any documents related to his case. But the guy who began it all has alleged that Massa isn't interested in sports merit and is simply looking to fill his own pockets. Bernie Ecclestone said the Felipe Massa clan is solely in it for the money. Ecclestone was the metaphorical tin opener for this can of worms earlier this year, when he revealed that a long-accepted version of events surrounding 2008's Crashgate proved to be inaccurate. Following Nelson Piquet Jr.'s collision into the wall, it was revealed that F1 and FIA were unaware the crash was intentional until Piquet Jr. departed the team the following year. The FIA has long claimed that the season is declared over after the prize-giving ceremony at the conclusion of the year, and therefore they're unlikely to remove or change any results, leaving Hamilton as world champion. However, Ecclestone stated earlier this year that he and then FIA leader Max Mosley were aware of Renault's manipulation of the Singapore race before the end of 2008, contradicting the widely accepted version of events. Shortly after, Massa proclaimed his intention to file a legal complaint, and while Ecclestone has since denied making the remarks, stating he cannot recall doing so, the former Ferrari driver is pressing on. According to Massa's lawyer, Bernardo Viana, they want to bring home the trophy, but Ecclestone has hinted there is an ulterior motivation. The Massa clan is only in it for the money, but the chances of that are zero, Ecclestone said about the case. Ecclestone went on to say that Hamilton and Mercedes could have filed a lawsuit after the 2021 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, and while the team did examine this, they shelved the plan and relinquished the title to Max Verstappen. Lawsuits against the FIA could have been filed by Hamilton with Mercedes after the not very clean 2021 finale in Abu Dhabi. So what are your thoughts? Does Massa stand any chance at all? And if he were proven to be right, should Hamilton pursue the 2021 title after all? It sure looks like that if Massa gets that title, this won't be the only lawsuit about the wrongfully run championships. Things could get messy really quickly for F1, but we'll have to wait and see what happens for now.